Hey, what's up? Michael Whitfield clap. Do the clap, Noah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Week 3, NFL fantasy football. These are the standings. Hope everyone's fantasy teams are doing well. Hope they're doing better than auto draft a sick Andrew Petchy. Sickening. Football's so fantastic. It just makes the week so much better. It's so great. But what about you, Noah?
I'm off to a pretty hot start.
Oh,
Fancy.
yeah. So Noah and I are both in like 4 leagues each.
Yeah.
Right? Are you in 4?
Yeah, I'm in 4. Well, not including this one, 4 on my own. So if I count this one with 10 matchups, I'm a good 9-1 to start off the year, with my only loss being to you barely.
Yeah, and our matchup was kind of ugly, so I don't even feel great about that one.
Win's
So
a win.
I'm in 4, including the Victory Lap League, and I am 7-1. In the one matchup I lost in week 1, I had the second most points.
Oh,
The third, no, actually it was like the third or fourth after Monday Night Football.
right.
But nothing crazy. So we're off to great starts. Obviously, us 2 and Seth are in second place in the overall season standings. But
In the division.
IBM Watson only gives our team a 50% chance of making the playoffs right now. So fuck that dude. Not really worried about that. Team Rouch coming through to fruition right now with Justin Fields being named the somewhat for sure starter. I don't even know exactly how to word that because Matt Nagy is like pulling on our nutsack. So congrats. I forget who she took Russell Wilson like right after. So she'll be able to trade at least one of them. So let's take a look at our matchup for this coming week.
Let's see here.
So we play Ryan Schaefer. Shout out Marion High School. We might as well just break down our team a little bit. We said before the podcast, we think obviously we're on the left, Ryan's on the right. I think Ryan's team has a bit more upside currently going into this matchup, but I think our players have a better floor for the most part. I'm just really nervous about the Ezekiel Elliott situation. This is the only league either of us took Zeke this year because he fell to 7. But Tony Pollard looks really fucking good. So I don't know. Might be some movement of the Ezekiel Elliott soon.
Yeah. Her team on paper does not look the greatest, but I mean, they get the job done.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp had the most fantasy points of any wide receiver in week 2. Lamar Jackson looked MVP-like again against the Chiefs this past week. Rondale Moore, boiler up, I guess.
Whoa.
For Purdue. I went to IU, but I know that made Noah wet. So Rondale Moore, first NFL touchdown, and they play the Jaguars this week. So I mean, if he doesn't even have to get a touchdown every week to fit into our like flex or whatever.
Based off last week, like he was definitely Kyler's favorite target last week. Hopefully that continues. I mean, obviously Hopkins is there, but like out of like him, Christian Kirk, H.A. Green, I think he should easily be the top option there. So hopefully.
Yeah, I think he's definitely more agile than Christian Kirk, but with the same or better speed. So I think this is going to work out really well for Kyler being able to extend plays and move 20, 30 yards in the pocket every play. We just, before we started recording, we had the Rams defense, but they were going to play they're going to play in Tampa Bay this week. So we went ahead and added the Cowboys defense playing Philly. Jalen Hurts still looks like a decent quarterback. We're not saying like Jalen sucks, but their cohesion on offense kind of showed its flaws in week 2 against the 49ers. And I also said that was the best defensive game I think I've seen the Cowboys play in about 3 or 4 years, like since who was it? They had like one big fucking injury and he just like never got better. Oh fuck, who was it? It was basically the last time the Cowboys went to the playoffs, I'm pretty sure.
I don't even know who you're talking
I
about.
can't remember. Whatever. Sorry. But this is our matchup. I mean, there's really not much left to say about it. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't look like it favors us much based off like the names in the lineup. Like when you got guys like Rondo Moore, Tyson Williams, Jared Cook. I mean, the volume's there at least. Tyson Williams has been getting number one carries at least. I mean, they're still splitting, but like he starts at least. So that's a good sign for flex. Like he's put up I think 18 and 11 or something in the first two games. So that's about as much as we could ask for in a flex. And a guy who we picked up to start the season. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried about our actual running backs than him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about Zeke. I mean, who knows, man? He needs to step it up if we're going to keep winning. Jonathan Taylor, I'm not too worried about. I think now with Wentz gone, that man's going to get the ball a bunch.
That was going to be my next comment. So Jacob Eason's been announced the week 3 starter for the Colts. He looked awful when he came into the
week. Threw a right to Jalen Ramsey.
So bad. So yeah, I think the Colts playing against Tennessee here against a really bad run and pass defense is just to try to abuse the ground game. I really think we could see like at least 25 points out of Jonathan Taylor. Like this is such a good spot for him just to kind of reestablish himself as a top 10 running back in the NFL. Not just like fantasy wise, but like skill wise too, especially coming off kind of a slower week. So
I think this should be a good week to start Hines too for PPR because Easton's gonna like panic a lot and he's probably just gonna dump it off to Hines a lot.
No, I'm not even saying Jonathan Taylor's gonna have like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm just saying he's gonna have. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have at least 120 yards.
You should have 25 carries.
Yeah. And if he has another touchdown, that's 18, 2 touchdowns.
As long as they don't go down big early, which they shouldn't. The Titans offense has look. I mean, second half against the Seahawks, they look good. Derrick Henry did. But the Colts have a good defense. So
yeah, much better run defense than Seattle.
Tannehill has not looked good so far. And hopefully that kind of carries over into this week since we're facing him.
Yep. All right. More league-wide thoughts. Decent amount of injuries in week 2. I don't think the injuries bug has been quite as bad this year as it was in the COVID year when players were getting less preseason workouts and reps and everything. But Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, where's some Baker kind of got tweaked up a little bit. Carson Wentz, obviously.
I think Derek Carr's questionable too this week, isn't he?
If he is, I know he got tweaked, but I thought he was still going to play.
49ers running backs are all injured. Elijah Mitchell might play this week. If he does, he's going to be like the only guy getting the ball there. So that would be a perfect time to start him if you have him.
Yeah, Trey Sermon got fucking whacked on his first play from scrimmage in the NFL. So that hurts for all Trey Sermon owners. Shout out my friend Dominic Cataldo. Helped him with his draft a few weeks ago. And we took Trey Sermon in like the 8th or 9th round. So rip.
Rip.
But I think those are like the main injuries.
I know Laviska Shenault also got injured last week. I don't know. It might be bigger for some people, but
man, those Saints, bro. That was just unbelievable how hard they dropped off from week 1 to week 2. I mean, they went from being able, you could start like probably 3 or 4 players on the offense.
Yeah.
To literally just Kamara.
I think the Panthers defense also is not getting enough credit. They're
they're
a
good.
really good defense too. They got a good defensive line, a young set of DBs, so I think they could make some noise. And they're probably gonna be the top waiver pickup of the week
Yeah.
with how they played, and plus they play the Texans tomorrow.
Yeah. I think a good thing to mention, we talked about the injuries a little bit. Like, we're both Bears fans. We only play 12-man leagues, but there's anyone listening to this that's even if you're in a 12-man league, but especially if you're in a 10-man league, like Matt Nagy basically just said, like, Justin Fields is going to be our starter until we say something else. Like, he's a great dual. We know how valuable dual threat quarterbacks can be in fantasy football. Like, this is totally not biased. Like, Justin Fields was already drafted in all 4 of my leagues, our 12-person leagues. Like, people know he's going to be really fucking good, especially in fantasy. So if you're one of those people that kind of waited on a quarterback in your draft, go pick him up. I mean, if you're one of those people that are streamlining quarterbacks week to week and you're kind of bouncing between like a Baker Mayfield and like, I don't know, like Trevor Lawrence right now, Teddy Bridgewater, like I would go get Justin Fields.
I'd say he probably has as much value as like Jalen Hurts right now.
Definitely. And Jalen Hurts was going before the last teams were drafting quarterbacks too. So, I mean.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts was like right around that spot of like, if you're the last team to draft a quarterback, he's someone you consider, like him, like Ryan Tannehill. I think Fields is right around there when he's starting. So that's why he went so late, is because no one knew when he was going to start. But at week 3, like that's looking pretty good if you got him late or even just picked him up.
Yeah, and they're playing the Browns. The Browns defense is not looking quite as great as preseason projections were looking, and how they're definitely not playing as well as they did last season. I know it's only 2 weeks, not a huge sample size, but they've given up 33 points to the Chiefs, and they've given up 21 or 20 to the Texans. And Tyrod was out parts of. Did Tyrod finish that game?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, the Browns defense isn't doing anything crazy. So I think even first week against the Browns, like depending on who your current quarterback is, it's probably a good spot to give Justin Fields a shot. Great upside. I think the floor is pretty decent too with his ability to run out first downs. We saw it for the last offensive play against the Bengals in week 2. I know we're kind of getting more into the Bears right now, but I mean, he's moving just as well, maybe not quite as fast, but just as well as like a Kyler Murray. So, and he ran out the last 10-yard pickup on like a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10 to secure the Bears win. So that's a great guy to have in fantasy that can have a shutdown play and still get you a point worth of rushing yards to out of bounds. I don't really have much more comment. I think we covered a lot of the injuries, and maybe the last thing we can talk about is, I know it's only been 2 weeks. Maybe some of our, maybe each give like a 3, like, hey, this dude is doing like really well versus where he went in most drafts, and maybe 3 guys like they're not doing so great compared to where they went in for their ADP in drafts. So that'd probably be like a good something to talk about. Also, these are players maybe you want to target in trades / if you have one of these guys, maybe it's not looking great. I know for us, we already talked about him, but Zeke, I mean, I don't know a single 10 or 12-man league where Zeke didn't go in the first round. I'm trying to remember what he had in the first week, but I know this past week he only had like 7.9.
He's been pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't think he has 15 points between the first 2 weeks, and I think he's been projected 15 points in the first 2 weeks. So Zeke would be one of my heavy guys failing against where his ADP was. What about who's one guy that like instantly comes to mind doing poorly against their ADP?
Against ADP, that's
Like
tough.
just kind of like where they went in the draft. Like, are they holding up their value? Are they holding up their draft
Yeah.
value?
So someone I was kind of talking about, I think it was week 1, I gave as one of my duds was Justin Herbert. He's played a couple solid defenses, so I'll give him that little out there. But I mean, he was going probably right around like Russell Wilson area.
Yeah, I got him in the 7th round in your draft.
But that's the first one that comes to mind. But I know for a fact another one that comes to mind is Antonio Gibson. Everyone was like, man, it seems like I kept hearing, oh, he's going to put up CMC type stuff.
Oh yeah,
he's a converted wide receiver to running back.
He got outscored. He got outscored by his backup too this past week. JD McKissick had like 20.8 points.
Exactly. That it makes no sense. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's working for Washington because McKissick's catching these balls, but like,
yeah,
fantasy aspect, Antonio Gibson's been probably one of the biggest like bad picks so far compared to like ADP.
Yeah, I would kind of throw. I'd probably throw a John or Saquon. I would probably throw Saquon in there before Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
I think it's not even Saquon's fault. He doesn't really look that bad off the injury. I really think it's just the Giants have like a bottom 2 offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think you need to get Saquon more involved in the receiving game too. Like have him line up at slot a couple times, even if you don't think it's going to be the greatest looking thing ever. Like it's good to throw the defense off and at least like try it out. You don't have to have him like hard step on these routes either. Like just have him available for a pass like that. So
yeah.
All right, but what about maybe 3 guys like going crazy, like definitely doing better than their.
I definitely can think of one person that comes to mind. That's Rob Gronkowski, man. He just came out of nowhere with all these touchdowns.
Yeah, he has 4 touchdowns through 2 weeks. What is dog?
He was going probably the last 3 rounds of the draft, maybe 4, like that area. Like,
yeah, he was definitely going like 10.
People were drafting him as a backup.
Yeah, he was definitely going past the 10th round.
So I'm sure there are a good amount of people that ended up getting like Travis Kelce and Gronk or something like that. So like trade that man immediately.
Yeah, if you have Gronk now and you have like a competent end, like yes,
like Kelce, Darren Waller.
It's literally impossible for Gronk to hold this pace. And they're playing the Rams this week, which have a really good tight end defense. So it's going to be harder to trade Gronk after this game against the Rams, unless somehow he just goes God mode and gets another 2 touchdowns. But I think it's a great spot to trade Gronk. Like probably the best spot you're going to have to trade him all season. Even if you just go on to the waiver wire right now, I think you could get guys like the Vikings tight end.
Even like Jared Cook's still like.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jared Cook, but I was like, I think he's kind of gone in some.
Yeah,
I would say my pick, which was one of the guys I picked preseason that's going too low in drafts. Motherfucking Tyler Lockett, baby. Tyler Lockett is a dog, bro. He is getting all of the fucking touchdowns. Like him and DK Metcalf. Like I did this thing with Seth. Like they're basically the same guy, but DK was going like a round and a half to 2 rounds before Lockett. And it's like, why? They're on the same team. They're running the same routes. Like, wait for Tyler Lockett and get a better running back. And
I think just based off like past years, I've always been iffy on Tyler Lockett because I mean he definitely has that potential of what he's doing now, but like there will be some weeks where he'll catch like 1 or 2 catches.
Oh yeah, I'm not doubting that.
I think I honestly think both of them. I think where Lockett's going, where he did get drafted, I'd probably say is the value is there. Obviously, DK Metcalf's not, but still, like I think they're both too inconsistent. I mean, yeah, after 2 weeks, Tyler Lockett may be the best receiver in fantasy, other than like Cooper Kupp. So you definitely are winning that argument there. I'll give you that. But
And I'm not saying he's going to do this every week. Obviously,
no,
I'm saying like it's great.
Yeah, I mean, we're going based off the first 2 weeks. That's what we're doing. I'm just
Right.
thinking like long term. Like, I think, yeah, I mean, the value's already showing definitely that he's like a top pick of the draft, but could still be too early to tell. Hopefully you're right. That
Right. And maybe it's another spot in one of your leagues where, I mean, it'd be hard to get this through, but maybe someone started 0-2 and they have Tyreek Hill. Maybe you offer him like a Tyler Lockett or like a Cooper Kupp, and you pair it with like, I don't know, like a running back or another wide receiver that's averaging
Gronk
10 to 12 points, and you package it and he gets 2 starters and you get fucking Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs or trying to think of like another kind of receiver kind of like in that ADP range.
Yeah,
You get the idea. I don't think anybody would do it. Even like try for D-Hop or Devontae. I mean, the worst thing that could happen in trade is someone says no. And it's kind of like sales. Like you just keep putting out the trade offers and eventually you'll get a yes. Just keep flowing them out there. What do we say? So we said Tyler Lockett and
Gronk.
All right, you can do the other one.
So this is a guy I was very high on. I don't know if I mentioned on this podcast, but I definitely know I mentioned a lot at the actual drafts. Deebo Samuel, I was very high on him this year.
Sickening.
Yeah, very high on him. I know a lot of people were very high on Ayuk this year, which I mean he still can put up points, but I don't know what's happened to him the first couple of weeks. But
Yeah.
before I made it clear, once when Deebo was healthy last year, he was the number 1 receiver there.
Dog.
Ayuk had that value because Deebo got hurt, and everyone was like, okay, Ayuk finished with this many points, so he's better than Deebo.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Like Deebo, I got Deebo in probably like the 7th or 8th round, like as a wide receiver 1 on his team. And I don't understand the hype behind Ayuk as high as he was, which I'm not saying his value stinks. It does right now, but I don't know why Deebo was way lower than Ayuk to start the year. But I got Deebo in like 2 leagues or 3 leagues this year, and it's definitely paid off right now.
Yeah. That could be an interesting situation with I mean, kind of similar to the Bears right now. With like Trey Lance is going to be the starting quarterback at some point, so it'd be interesting to see how those 2 receivers like trend in the future once Trey Lance becomes a starter.
Right. Yeah, it could differ based off quarterback.
Yeah.
I know Garoppolo likes Deebo though.
Like I think, but in general, I think it's going to be better for both receivers with
right.
Trey going. I know Trey can run the ball too, but like that also extends your time of possession in games and gets you in the red zone more. So I think it's going to be better for both of them by the time Trey Lance comes in the picture, just like it is going to be Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney for the Bears going in the future. He's going to extend possessions. He's going to extend plays and get more first downs. So I think both those teams are in a good spot where the only way up or the only direction for value for fantasy players on those 2 teams is up with a better quarterback coming into play. So
let's get a quarterback in here. Is there a quarterback that comes to mind for you?
That's going crazy over there. Oh, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
But no, he wasn't even like drafted in most leagues.
See, Derek Carr is definitely one of them. For me, Daniel Jones, man, watching him against Washington if he didn't have that touchdown call back, he would have had the extra
3 rushing touchdowns.
He would have had 3 total, and like he would have had that extra touchdown plus those probably 30 yards he lost. He finished with 95.
Oh yeah,
rushing.
3 total touchdowns. Yeah.
He finished, and Darius Slayton dropped that wide open touchdown too. So, but he had 95 rushing yards and a touchdown. 250 passing yards and a touchdown. Had Darius Slayton's drop touchdown, had that holding call on his rushing touchdown. So like
against
he's
Washington,
showing like he had let's see. I can pull stats up real quick.
I did
So,
pick him up in one league this
no.
this week.
So I mean, he had 260 yards and a touchdown, and 27 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown against Denver. So like, he's got some mobility there that's kind of sneaky.
Yep, I agree. Really, but I mean, both of those quarterbacks are basically like undrafted, so
Right, Carr's definitely he's been playing really well.
it's not even. I'm trying to think of someone that like got drafted. That's, I mean, I
I
guess
mean,
you could say,
the best quarterback right now in fantasy is probably Kyler Murray.
I was gonna say maybe Tom Brady,
Tom
like,
Brady,
versus ADP, because
yeah,
Tom Brady was going in
those are
like,
probably the top two right now.
yeah, I would agree.
Brady's ADP was like 7th round, 8th round, so that's probably the best value right there.
Oh yeah. Before I forget to mention, our studs and duds list. I know before the first week of fantasy football, we did them on the podcast. It kind of ended up sucking because like two of the players on our list ended up like not playing. And then kind of this. So from now on, what we're gonna do is me, Noah, and Seth are each gonna pick two studs and duds. And we're going to put them on, I'm going to put them on our main Victor Lab media page. So if you don't follow us on there already, go ahead. That's where our studs and duds slash start sit 'em list is going to be. Those are going to go up on Sundays, anytime between 11 and 12. Because we really don't want to waste one of our spots for the list on someone that's not even going to end up playing. So it gives us more time to see if someone's going to be hurt or whatever, or like make a COVID list. I mean, it'd be easy for one of them to get COVID between now and Sunday if we gave our list today. So we're just going to wait. Also, like, it'd be cool, like, if you follow us on Twitter, interact with us, you can comment on those tweets, agree or disagreeing, or ask us a question about two people. We'll be on Twitter heavy the hour leading up to the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. So if you guys want to interact with us on the comments on that tweet, that'd be fun. We'll respond to you if you have, like, I don't know, say someone like what was ours, like Rondell Moore or like Tyson Williams, like something like that for
like Darnell Mooney.
Yeah. So if you have like something specific, like, just go ahead and ask. That'll take us like 30 seconds to respond to. So I think that's going to be it for week 3. Great episode. Noah, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you said you're what, 7-1 start
7-1.
I'm 9-1. That's a combined 16-2. I mean, there's reasons you should ask us to
Hell
have
yeah.
opinions, man.
Yeah,
We're off to a very hot start. We're off to a very hot start. Seth's 2-0 in my league too.
Yeah, Seth is I'm pretty sure
he's probably off to just as good of a start.
Yeah, Seth is either 5-1 or 6-0.
Yeah, so don't hesitate, man.
And we're not going to be right every time, but I mean,
I'm sure some people are hesitant because, like, who the heck are these guys?
Right.
But the numbers show, man.
Obviously, if you're Ryan Schaefer watching this, we're not going to fucking tell you, fuck you, because we play him this week.
Mm-hmm. We'll tell you the opposite, but yeah.
Actually, he should definitely sit Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to do it. Again, Victor Lat Media on Twitter. Also, if you're watching this, obviously you're on YouTube. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that red bar. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, us, Seth, Michael, Zach, when we're all hanging out on Sundays, we can start to live stream together while we're watching the game, having some drinks. Be a lot of fun. So make sure you subscribe. We're almost there. I think we're at like 9:35 right now, and we were at like 5:20 like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So at this pace, we should be there by like mid-season. That'd be cool when the games matter more anyways. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Follow those socials, and good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next week. Peace.